Alright, so in today's class we will cover a Radix sort. Okay, so let's get started. So let me write down with Radix sort. Let me increase the font size. Yeah. So what is Radix sort? The Radix sort is one of the linear sorting algorithm for integer. And it functions by sorting the input number given on each digit, and the process adopted by this sort of method is that the number are sorted on least significant digit first. Okay, team, mind this word. The number are sorted on least significant digit first, followed by the second least significant digit, and so on till the most significant digit comes. Right. So what is least significant digit? First try to understand this, because it's going to be a very key concept here. Right. So what is LSD, or what we called as a least significant digit? Okay, I think spelling is a bit wrong. SIGNIFICANT. Okay, which is called as LSD. And we have one more term called as the most significant digit, which is also called as a MSD. We are going to use one more term which is called as a mod. Okay, we will see these three terms which is going to be used very frequently, and that's why I want to explain this first. Right, so what is least significant digit and what's the most significant digit? It's very simple. For example, I'm having $100.50, right? Now if I say, if I increment this 0 by 1, right, or if I increment this 0 by 2 or 3 or 4 or 8 even, is it my this value is going to be change my 100.58 very significantly? Right, no, this number is not going to be changed very drastically. It's almost okay if I write almost okay in terms of, if I say money, 100.50 is almost equal, or not make that much of effect if I write 100.58, right, because this part of this number is least significant, right, is not going to impact very much. However, if I increment this value by 2, right, it's going to be effect, because $100 and $200 I mean there are huge difference between 100 and $200. If I make it 700 or 800, is going to be a huge difference from $100, right? So the impact of the first digit or the most significant digit is too high, right? So impact of this digit is high. That's why 8 here is, this digit is called as what? Most significant digit. Let me write it. Most significant digit. And the number whose impact is very less is called as least significant digit. Okay. LAST SIG, right? So this is about least and most significant digit. Now come to mod. uh, The mod is actually what we get as a remainder, right? For example, if I'm having a digit called 72, and if I divide, or if I take a mod of 72, right? So by, let's say, 100 or 10, then it will give me 7.2, right? So in this case, mod would be what? 2, right? So here mod is what we called as a remainder. Whenever we take a mod of any number, then what we get as a remainder is called as a mod of that number, right? So these are some three terms which I am going to use very extensively in this class. That's why I want to explain it. All right, probably you might be know all these terms very well, but I just want to make sure that everyone know. All right, so now let's get started. Since this radix sort takes the function by sorting the input, and the way or the process it takes is it will take the number, what we have is least significant digit first, and then followed by the most significant digits, right? So let me take a fresh page. Okay, so let me write down some number. For example, let me take 10, and let me increase the size first. Okay, so the number is like 10, then 180, then 72, then for example 45, then 136, or 8, and then 39, for example. I've just taken some random numbers, right? Now, before we proceed, let me explain you the key concept here, right? The key concept is, first of all, on the very first instance, we will take a number, for example, let's say 10, right? And then we will take a mod of this number, right? So the second step would be, this is my first step, let's say. Second step would be, we will take the mod of this number by 10, right? Or I can say, if it's going to be a bit confused, let me take a 45 number, right? So every number on the first phase is going to be mod by 10. Okay, either it's 136 or 8 or any number. And then third step is, we will divide what we have in mod by 1. Alright, for example, in this case, if I take a mod of 45 by 10, then it comes as what? It comes as 5. Alright, and if I divide 5 by 1, it will comes as 5. Okay, so in this way we will proceed our phase 1, right? After that we will get a sorted array. I'm just going to write a diagram, or I can say some sort of algorithm that will give you some picture of what I'm going to do, right? So this will give you a sorted array of phase 1, and after that again I repeat the same process, let's say, of this sorted array. Okay, let me make this like this. Of this sorted array, and we take a first number. Let's say my first element of my sorted array would be, or I can say this is my first sorted array. Okay, this sorted array may not contains all the element in sorted form. Okay, may not contains all element in sorted form. So we will again move towards our phase 2, and in that we will again take a mod, but this time we will increment the value by one more zero, right? So earlier it was 10, now it comes as 100. So uh, this comes as 80, and here also we will increment the value of division by a 0. So here what we have as a remainder, earlier it was dividing with 1, now we are dividing with 10, right? Earlier it was 1 here, you can see, now we are going to divide by 10. Alright, so this gives me 8, and again we got a sorted array that again may not be in sorted form. Oops, let me write down here, right? So after first, again my second sorted array may not contain all the element in sorted form, so we will follow again the same procedure. Like if the first element of my sorted array is, for example, as a 45, then we will take a mod, but with one more 0 this time. Earlier it was 100, now again we will take a mod with 1000. Okay, so my second step would be take a mod with 1000. Alright, so this gives me remainder as a 45, and we will divide 45 by 100. Earlier it was 10, right? Before earlier it was 1. So as we move forward, we will increment the value of 0 by 1, right? So now it comes as a dot 45, or I can say 0 dot 45. Right, so in this way we will move forward, and again we find a sorted array. Most of the times it seems that or I can say it seems that whenever we have a figure in three figures, like let's say for example here we have 180, right? So we have a three figures, then in third time the array what we receive would be the sorted form, right? So it's the basic layout about how we are going to move forward, right? So the first step would be, let me explain you again. First, the first step is we will take a number, any number, or let's say in our case, if I start from 10, right? Most of the times we will start from left hand side, by the way, right? So we will, but here I am just taking any number just for the sake of an understanding and as an example. So here if I take a 45, then we will take a mod of this number and divide the number by 1 of what number we have received in a mod, and then in that way we will sort the array, right? How we are going to sort, we will see, right? We are going to make a linked list also, and in which we are going to store this value. We will see all this in our next slide. right? But I'm just going to explain you what the overall layout. First of all, we will mod by 10 and divide by 1. Next step, we will mod by 100 and divide by 10. And third step would be we will take mod by 1000 and divide by 100, right? And then in this way we will find, or we will get a sorted array. This is the basic concept or the whole soul concept of the Radix sort, right? If you have any doubt or any confusion, it will definitely clear when I'm going to explain you in our next slide. All right, so let's open my next fresh page. uh, yes, okay, let me write it down once again. My first, oops, my array would be, let me increase the font size. Okay, 10, then 180, then 72, then 45, then 136, then 8, then 39. All right, so let's get started. So before we are going to start, let me give you one more thing. Okay, what was that? See, in this Radix sort, we will consider a linked list which carries a significant number from 0 to 9. So let's draw a linked list, right? So let me draw a linked list for you. It's like let me, yeah, let's say this is my 0th. This linked list contains the significant digit from 0 to 9. Okay, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and suppose this is my ninth part. Let me make it here, right? So it's not very look like a very equally divided, but please bear with me. Okay, so this is my linked list which contains a significant value from 0 to 9, which is actually I'm going to use uh, to sort out my array using Radix sort. Now let's take our very first digit from the left side, which is 10. All right. Let me write like this. Okay, so if I take my very first digit 10, so my first rule is we need to take a mod by 10 and divide by 1. Okay, so I will take 10 mod by 10, right, which gives me what? Remainder as a 0, right? And then if I divide 0 by 1, I will get what? 0, right? Team, this number, this 0 number is the place where I actually going to put my this number. Okay, this gives me the place where I'm going to use my digit 10 from the array, right? So let me put 10 here. Okay, now again let me take another number which is 180. It's good if I take same color, otherwise it's going to be very hectic if I always change my number color every time. So as per the rule, let me take a mod of 180, right, which gives me again 0, right, 180 mod 10, which gives me remainder as a 0, and if I divide 0 by 1, it gives me 0, right. So the next number which I uh, got at 0th place will be 180. All right, now third number is 72, right. So 72 mod 10 equal to 2 as a remainder, and if I divide 2 by 1, this will give me what? 2. Alright, so my next number place is second, which will be kept as 72. Alright, so far so good. Now take another number which is 45, and if I take a mod of 45 by 10, this will give me what? 5. And 5 divided by 1 gives me what? 5. So the place of my 45 is 5. Easy? Yes, it seems so. As so far so good. 136. 136 mod 10 gives me 6, and if I divide 6 by 1, it will give me 6, right. So my next place of 130 of 6 is 136, right. My next digit is 8, and if I take a mod of 8, it will give me what? Remainder as an 8, and 8 divided by 1 gives me 8. Okay, so I will put my 8 at 8th location. In a similar fashion, if I take 39, so 39 mod 10 gives me 9, and 9 divided by 1 gives me again 9. So the place of my 39 is 9th place, right. So if I write my array in the order on which I have placed in this array, so my array or I can say my new array will come as what? First I have taken 10, right. If I start from 0, the first value is 10. Let me mark like this. First value is 10, then I have 180, then I have 72, right, then 45, after that 136, after that 8, and after that 39. Okay, so this is my first phase, or I can say first pass of my Radix sort. This is what I can say as a first pass or phase of sorting array. Alright, we will follow the same procedure again and again. Maximum I think is 3, because we have a 3 digit, right. And after that, on third iteration, I'm going to get a final sorted array. Right. Now let me open a fresh page. Yeah. So if I write my first sorted array here, it will come as 10, 180, then 72, then 45, then 136, and after that 8, comma 39. Right. So this is a sorted array of what I have get after my first phase or first pass. Now let me uh, again create a linked list, the same linked list. So it would be like this my 0, this my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Right. So let me draw a division line also. Alright, so as our second rule, right, after getting my first sorted array, we need to make a mod by 100, right, and we will divide by 10. We are just going to increment the value of 0 by 1, right? So in this case, let's say I'm going to take again 10, my first value here, and if I divide if I take a mod, earlier I was taking a mod by 10, now I'm going to take a mod by 100. This will give me what? 10 as a reminder, right? And if I divide 10 by, earlier I was dividing by 1, right? Now I am going to divide by 10. I have just incremented a 1 value of 0. Okay, so this will give me 1, right? So now the position of 10 will be 1. Earlier it was 0, alright? Now the position of 10 would be 1. Okay, so let me write 10 here. Right, now if I take our next value, which is 180, and take a mod by 100, this will give me 80, and if I divide 80 by 10, this will give me 8. Okay, so the position of my 180 would be 8th position. Alright, now in the same fashion, if I take 72 and 72 mod 100 will give me 72 as a remainder, and if I 72 divided by 10, this will give me 7.2, and here we will consider this as a 7. Okay, because there is no such 7.2 location, so we will consider 7 here, right? So the position of 72 would be 7. Right, now my next number is 45. If I take 45 mod 100, this will give me 45, and 45 divided by 10 is equal to 4.5, and that comes as a 4. Okay, so that will give me a location of 45, which is 4th. Right, now my next number is 136. Okay, so 136 is like 136 mod 100. This give me 36, and if I divide 36 by 10, this will give me 3.6, and that comes as a 3. So we will put 136 at third location. Okay, now my next number is 8. Okay, if I take a mod of 8 mod 100, it will give me remainder as an 8, and if I divide 8 by 10, it will give me 0.8. so we will consider 0 here, right? So my 0th location will carry my 8 number. My final number is 39. Okay, now if I take a mod by 100, this will give me 39, right? And 39 divided by 10 would be 3.9, which is equal to 3. So the location of my 39 is third. Okay, so the first location was 36 and another location was 39. We will put in this sequence only, right? First we write 36 and then 39, because 31 36 comes first. All right, so let's try to write down all this array in a sorted form. How we get? Let me increase the font size. So the sequence would be 8, then 10, then 136, then comes 39, then comes 45, then 72, and then 180. Right, so this is my second phase, or I can say my second pass of sorting the array. Right, so I am done with my first pass, and I am done with my second pass. Right, now let's go to my final pass. Right, so before that, let me write down the array. So it's like let me increase the font size. It's like 8, 10, 136, then 39, then 45, then 72, then 180. Alright, 8 and 136, 39, 45, 72. Right. Now I am going to write again a new linked list. Right, let me quickly draw. This is my 0th element, this is my first element, this is my second significant digit, my third, my fourth, my fifth, my sixth, my seventh, my eighth, and my ninth. Right, so let me draw partition quickly. Right, so yeah, so let's again take my third iteration, and take very first digit, which is 8, and now, as I said, this time I am going to take a mod with 1000 number, right? Earlier I have taken 10, then I have taken 100, and then I have taken 1000, right? Team, why I have using or why I have just incrementing this value? Just because I want to take a, most significant, I am going towards my most significant digit, right? That's the reason why I have incrementing my digits of 0 by 1, right? Because I am moving towards most significant digit from least significant digit, right? So here, if I take a mod of 8 by 1000, then this will give me a result of 8. And if I divide 8 by 100, see team, earlier I was dividing by 10, before that I was dividing by 0, and as I said in my in my layout description here, that we are incrementing the value of division by 1 by 0 also, right? So earlier it was 1, then 10, and then here in my final iteration is going to be a 101, right? So I have divided by 100, right? So this gives me what? 0.08, okay, which is equal to, I'm going to take as a 0. So the position of 8 is 0, right? Now if I take my second number, which is 10, and take a mod of 10 by 1000, okay, it will give me what? 10, right? And if I divide 10 by 100, it will give me, just a second, 0.10, right? So again the value would be placed at 0th position. So here I have put my 10th number, right? Now next comes as 136. So 136 mod 1000 will give me dot 1, or I can say 136, right, as a reminder. And if I divide 136 by 100, it will give me what? A second. 1.36, right? So that is equal to 1, and that means the value of 136 should be placed at first place, right? Now my next number is 39. So 39 mod 1000 comes as, oops, I click outside, okay, as 39, right? And if I divide 39 by 100, then this will give me 0.39, right? So the position of 39 is again at 0th place, right? My next digit is 45, alright. So 45 mod 1000 will give me 45, and 45 divided by 100 will give me what? 0.45, which is equal to 0th position, and the position of 45 would be 0. My next number is 72, and 72 mod 1000 will give me 72 as a remainder, and 72 divided by 100 is equal to 0.72, which is equal to 0th position, and the position of 72 would be 0th. Oops. Alright, now my final digit is 180, right? So if I take a mod of 180 divided by 1000, this will give me what? 180. And if I divide 180 by 100, it will give me 1.82, which is equal to 1. So the position of 180 would be first. Alright, so team, this is how I done with my sorting. So now let's try to write down on the same sequence how it's been placed on this linked list, right? So the first digit is, let me make in different colors, 8, then 10, let me make it bit darker, let me take a red color for example, 8, then 10, 10, 39, then 45, then 72, then 136, then 180, right? So now if I see, this is my sorted array, right? 8, 10, 39, 45, 72, 130 and 180, right? So in this way we will sort the any given array using the Radix sort. Alright, so let's start with our program of Radix sort, right? So let me finish my writing part, and I will also try to explain you the meaning of every line as soon as we move forward, so that it will give you an idea about how we actually going to write our program, right? So I'm going to declare our two basic header files, right? And I also define array size, for example here, and let me write down our main first, okay, and then we will write our functions, right? So first of all, I want to declare array and uh, some variables of integer type, let's say I and n, and then cl or scr to clear my screen, and then I want an input from a user to input the number of elements to be sorted, right? So I'm going to store this value, and before that let me put selection also for next line, right? So yeah, now I'm going to store this in a variable called as n, okay? So ampersand n. So far so good. Now printf, I'm going to ask a user to input the number or elements to be sorted. Earlier I was asking to the total number of elements, let's say 7 elements, right? Now I am asking to enter the number, like on the very first element what's the number, on the second element what's the number, on the third element, and so on, right? So I'm going to take this input in a loop format, right? So I'm going to write a for loop. Okay, this comes I smaller than n and then I plus plus. All right, and inside this I want a user to print its uh, specific number of the array, right? So for that I will write, oops, not like this, this would be inside this curly braces, and array a double r, and then the number of loop is like this, right? So it will print like it will print like array of 0, array of 1, array of 2, array of 3, and so on, right? And we will scan this in our one of the variable, which is array of I, ampersand a double r I. Right, so what I'm going to do here, I will ask a user to input the number, right? And before he give any input, I will ask him to input the number at 0th position, at array of 1 position, at array of 2 position, at array of 3 position, at array of 4 position, and so on, right? So in this way it will be, it gives a good look and feel for any user to give the array number, right? Now I want to print the array what user has given, right? So that it will be visible to get get an idea that what was array before sorting and what was after sorting. Okay, array before radix sorting or radix sort, right? And then we will print the array. So for printing I am going to write a function which is called as a print, and here I am passing our array with the number of elements in the array, right? So here I am saying a double r 0 comma n, right? Now after that I will print, I will write get ch, okay, so that I can see my output. Alright, so far so good. Let me put this get ch in the last. Yeah, I don't want to stop in the mid. I mean, I just want to stop after printing this, but let's say we will see in the last. Okay, now here comes our main logic. I will make a function and pass my array, okay, along with my array number, right? The same way how I have passed for printing, right? So this is how actually my two functions is going to use. I have just using two functions. First function is for printing, which I'm going to use two times. One is for before array and another is for after sorting array, right? And second function is I'm going to use for calculating, or I can say a sorting of my array using Radix method, what I've explained you, right? So it's like array after Radix sort, right? And after that I will again call the same function and pass the parameter so that it will print my array, right? With same parameters and value, comma, and but this time it will print my array after sorting, right? After that I will write get ch, or if I have written, so let me remove it. All right, so far so good. It seems to be very simple, but it's a bit tricky, I would say. Not complex, but yes, it's a bit tricky, right? So we are using only two functions. One is for printing and another is for making sorting and all, for using Radix method. All right, so let's write our first function, which is very simple for print. It's not going to return anything, so let me write void print, and it receive array as a pointer array, and then here I am using integer. Okay, so what this will do is it will print the number of an array, right? And inside this I will write integer I for I is equal to 0 to I is smaller than n, and here, oops, I'm sorry, and I plus plus. Okay, and then we will printf what our value, what we have, percentage d, or it's like this, that will be better, right? Then a of, what's the value of I, a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3. Alright, so this is all about my printing function. Now comes to our main function, which is Radix. Alright, so again we receive on the same fashion how we are receiving our previous one. So it comes as a pointer array, and then here we have integer n. Alright, now inside this team, now here comes the main logic of, or the core thing of this program. Here I am going to declare a few variables like uh, I need array of p, then m, which is will be initiated with 0, then I need expression exp is equal to as a 1, I will initiate it with 1, and after that I am going to use some for loops. This actually going to very crucial for this program. Alright, so team, I'm going to write some for loop here, and inside this for loop we will declare a if condition, right? If this for loop is basically to get the highest number and will store in m variable. Okay, so as far as for loop moves, it will check if a of I, the value of a of I is greater than or m, greater than to m. If yes, then it will assign that value to m, otherwise it will move forward, right? So basically this for loop is checking the highest number in my given matrix, in my given array, right? So Tim, if you have any doubt as of now as far as this Radix sort function is concerned, let me just complete it, and I'm going to explain you in a very detailed way, right? So don't worry about that, but let me try to explain as soon as I move forward, and you will find out very easy once you understand things, right? We need a bucket the same way how I have declared it. Oops. And after that I will start a for loop from 0 to I is smaller than n, and then I plus plus, right? I'm going to explain you everything here, so please don't worry about it. And then here I am going to exp and divide by, sorry, mod by 10, right? It's like this. And again I need one more for loop from I is equal to 1, I is more than 10, then I plus plus, right? And after that bucket of I plus is equal to bucket of I minus 1, right? And I need one more for loop for I is equal to n minus 1, and I is greater than equal to 0, and then I plus plus. And under this for loop I will write bucket b bucket minus minus bucket, okay, of a of I, yeah, divide by exp mod 10. So far so good. Yeah, alright. And finally I need one more for loop for from I is equal to 0 to I is more than n, then I plus plus, and this is for copying one array to another, okay? And then we will increment our expression, alright? Finally we will print if the phrase 1 of pass int a comma n, a comma n, right? So I'm done with my program. Let me just try to see if everything is okay. Let me just give a yes, okay. I'm going to give a dry run. Let's see. Oops, 8 errors. Wow. Let's see. Okay, it's not a studio, it's stdio.h, right? Number 2, oops, 6 errors. Now it's max. Okay, this should be max. Okay, one more. This should be like this. Okay, 7 errors. Okay, something is also missing here also. This should be, yeah. Let me see if I have missed these type of silly mistakes. Let me move towards very first line and just have a look every line by line. So far so good. Okay, integer. Okay, then okay, so far so good, so far so good. If a, yeah, seems everything is fine as of now. Then while m, okay, here semicolon is missing, and then for, okay, so far so good. Bucket for I is equal to 0 to I is more than I plus plus, then bucket a of I. um, Perfect, everything seems perfect as of now. And then I am going to decrement the value of I here and put it semicolon also, then n minus 1 I is greater than equal to 0 I plus plus. No, here this should be minus minus because I have already started from the higher number, right? Now after that we, now here also it's not like this, this should be like a, oops, a of I. This was a mistake, and here also semicolon is missing. So there are lots of semicolon missing mistakes. Okay, let's move forward, and looks fine. Let me try to execute it again. I have just pressed Alt F9. Again, no, it's two mistakes again. Where, oops, here. Okay, what's the one? Declaration syntax error. My blunder. It's not void, it's void. Again 4. Let me quickly correct. It's a semicolon mistake, and if I see everything's, oops, here also. Hopefully there is no such error. Oh yeah. So most of the errors are due to semicolon. Let me try to execute the program. So I have entered my total number of element as 5. Oops, it's a alignment. So anyway, we will see. First of all, let's see if my program is working correctly or not. uh, my first element is 34, second is, let's say, 23, then 2, 45, 2, 3, 3 to 6. Oops, alignment mistake, but anyway, let's see if everything is coming fine. 223, then 34, 45, and then 326. Yeah, so so alignment only issue as of now. Let me correct it, that also. Enter the number to be sorted. I have given 4 here, for example, and then let me write n here also, so that it will give me next line, and here also if I say, right. So if I see a next line character should be mentioned here and here, rest seems fine, right. So let me just try to execute one more time. So it's saying, let's say for example 4, yeah, it's coming correctly now. 34, then 23, then 2 or 4 5 6, yeah, so it seems fine now. 2 23 34 and 456, right? So I'm just been done with my program, or I can say a writing program. Let's try to understand how this program actually works, right? So I'm going to execute this program in debug mode, right? So that we can monitor the value also. So I'm just pressing F7, and we'll see uh, how it's going to work, right? So very first time it will ask the enter the number to be sorted, right? So I'm going to take sorted elements like 4, right? And here is asking to input the number. So my first number is for example 34, and my second number is, let's say, 2, then 567, all right, then for example 43, right? So I have just entered 4 digit, and here you can see is writing array before Radix sort, and my print function is called, and here I am going to print my array which is before sorting. So it will print 1 2 3 and 4, and after that it will comes out. So if I see, you can see my array has been printed before doing any Radix sort algorithm, right, or any Radix sort method. Now after that it will comes back and calls the Radix sort function. Now here is passing the complete array along with the number of the array which has been received by a pointer and variable n which is of integer type, right? Now here we have declared some variable which we are going to use in our upcoming lines, right? Now here we can see our very first for loop. What's going to do? This will give me a highest number of my given array, right? Team, let me write down the number also. uh, let me write down number here also. My number are 34 to 567 43. Okay, so it's 34 comma 2 567 and 43, right? Now here my highest number is 567, right? So it will check a of I. Team, let me create a quick array also, so that it will give you a clear understanding about what's going on here. It's not same size. Let me make it on same size. 1 2 and 3, right? So my first element is here, which is 34. Alright, my second element is 2. Let me make it like this. My third element is 567. Oops, right, and my last element is 43. Okay, so this is my 0th element, this is my first element, this is my second element, this is my third element, right? I'm writing this just to avoid any sort of confusion, right? So here the value of a of I, as of now the value of I is 0, so a of 0 is going to check if it's greater than m, and the value of m is 0, right? So I'm going to check if 34 is greater than 0. Yes, it's greater than 0, so it will comes inside this if loop, and in similar way it will check all the values, and finally when it comes out it will give me the maximum value of a of I to m variable. If I see using watch, so I just press alt ww, and if I see the value of m here, it will give me 567. Right. Now after that I will come into my while loop. Here in while loop I am going to check if the value of m divided by expression is greater than 0 or not. If it's greater than 0, then I will come inside my loop, right? So here the value of expression is 1 and the value of m is 567. So if I divide, then it will be a greater than 0. So I will satisfy the condition and goes inside. Also remember, when I was explaining you this algorithm, then here remember I have taken 1 in my very first phase, and as soon as we move forward, let me use this color. Yeah, remember when I was explaining you this, I have marked, or I have taken this value as a 1, and as soon as we move forward I have incremented the value of 1 by 0, and in this way, in similar fashion, I will move towards 10 and then 100, right? So in the same way I am going to increment the value of expression here also, which you can see here, right? So that's the reason why I have taken a value of exp or expression as a 1. Right. Now once I come inside this I have created a array with the name of a bucket of 10 values in a similar way how I have explained you earlier. Let me open any of the image, just a second, like this way, right? So I'm going to make a new array, or I'm sorry, a new linked list, which will uh, start from 0 to 9, and we will right. So let me create it quickly. So here the value here is 0, then 1, then 2, and 3, 4, 5, oops, let me make it here, 5, 6, 7, then 8 and 9, right? Let me draw a line also quickly. Team, I am just drawing this again because I want to make sure that the concept is clear to everyone, right? So that makes me bit bit tarry to write this all again and again. So yeah, now here after this, if you see in my program, I have put the value 0 at my LSD value, as an LSD value. So what I did, initialize with we have initialized all the value of this bucket with 0, right? Now after that, now let's see how is calculating, right? I'm going to explain this calculation as of now, right? So let me open it, and let me write it down here. Okay, so it will work like when the value of, okay, now when the value of a of I means 0. Okay, so let me write like this: bucket bucket a of I. A of I, what's the value of a of I? Yeah, a of I means a of 0, and the value of a of 0 is 34, right? So we will divide 34 by what? Exp value of exp is 1, if you see here, right? So it will divide by 1, and that will gives you what? 34, right? And if I take the mod of this value by 1, then I'm sorry, by 10, then this will gives me what? 3.4. So the remainder of 3.4 will be considered, so it will comes as 4, right? So in this list we will put the value 34 at 4th place, right? In a similar fashion, right, we will move towards our rest of the program. Like for example, our in case of a of I, when it comes as a 1, then it will calculate as a uh, 2 divided by 1 modular 10 will come as 2, right? So the value of 2 will be put at 2nd place. Okay, let me write down here. In a similar fashion, if I write 567 divided by 1 modular 10, then this will give me, I'm sorry, this could be 56.7, which comes as a remainder of 7. That means the value of 567 will be kept at my 7th position. Alright, so let me put 567 here. Alright, now come to my last position, which is 43, and if I divide by 1 and take a modular by 10, it comes as 3. Alright, so that means I need to keep my 43 at 3rd position. Right, in a similar fashion it will follow with rest of my loop, right? Okay, now come to the our second loop. In second loop, yeah, in second loop, if we see, let me calculate this value, right? So in second loop, let me take a fresh MS Paint. Just a second. Now, here in my second loop, it's written like bucket of I. We can write like this also, like bucket of I is equal to bucket of I plus bucket of I minus 1. This will be more convenient for understanding for you and me also, right? So if I consider this like okay, bucket of I, okay, so on my very first loop the bucket of I is what? 1. So the value of 1 here is 0. Team, remember earlier I have kept 0 at every places, right? And so since this is there is no as such values been kept at 0th position, that's why it's remain same as 0, right? And at the place of a 1 again it's a 0, right? So my final value would be at bucket of I would be what? 0. In a similar fashion, if I move forward towards this is when my bucket, the value of my bucket is bucket bucket is 1. right? Now as soon as we move forward, let me copy it. Not enough room, let me make some room for him. Okay, now if I move forward, so the value of 2, bucket of 2 is, let me see here, we have a number at 2, so it will consider as there is a number at second place, right? So it has already been incremented by 1, so here the bucket value will be incremented by 1, so this will consider as 1, and the value of bucket I minus 1, see 2 minus 1, which is 1, which is this one, right? So here this value will be 1 plus 0, which comes as 1, right? In a similar fashion, if I write bucket 3, this will come as 1, and my previous one, see, we have a number at third place also, so that's why I have written 1 here. We have a number at 3 minus 1 also, so we have copied it, or we have taken this number from here also. Team, if I just make an arrow like this, then that will be much better for you, like, because this is I minus 1. Now let's see further. Now here bucket of 4, let me make it in black. Yeah, so the bucket at 4 would be what? If we see here the bucket of 4, yes, we have a digit, so we will put 1 and 1 from our previous one, so this comes as a 1, so this comes as a 2. Alright, and here also this comes as a 2, I forget to write, right? So this comes as a 2. I'm sorry for the misalignment, by the way. So this comes as a 2. Okay, oops, I made a mistake, like here I forgot to write that calculation, that's why I have taken 1. Actually this would be like this, just a second, let me clear it, let me clear everything first. See, it's very clear now. See, here the value of bucket 3 would be, if I say, is 43, so we have already a 1 digit, so I have written 1 and 1 from my previous value, so this comes as a value of 2, right? Now here if I say the value at fourth is already 34, so we have a 1 digit, so 1 plus a value coming from previous one, right, which is 2, so this comes as a total of 3 value. Alright, I'm sorry for the confusion cause, because earlier I was not calculating, I forgot to calculate and I have taken 1 as a previous value, right? Okay, now my last bucket, fifth. Now here the value of fifth is 0. Okay, so we will see 0 plus 3, which comes as a 3, and in a similar fashion we will move forward towards bucket, oops, 6, which is equal to 0 plus 3 is equal to 3, and then bucket of 7 is equal to, let me check, yeah, I have a 7 which is having a number, plus 3 which is comes as 4. Then we have 8, and then we have 9, right? So let me make it 8, let me make it 9. We have 0, and then we have a 4 from previous one, so this comes as a 4. We have a 0 and 4 from previous one, so this also comes as a 4, right? So this is the logic behind why I have written my this value, right? So what we did here, we calculate how many numbers are at particular ith position including the previous value. That's the reason why I have written bucket I plus, or bucket I is equal to bucket I plus bucket I minus 1. Right? Now, this is all about my second loop. Now comes to my third loop. Here in third loop, let me write down, or let me take another MS Paint. Just or let me take my previous MS Paint. That will be much better for you, I think. Okay, so here let me write down the statement first. Statement of my third bucket would be like, let me do this. Okay, so here my statement is B, let me change the color, B minus minus bucket of A, then bucket of I divided by X exp and modular 10, alright, which is equal to A of I. Now let's try to understand this statement. If we see in our bucket, let me open my bucket also. Okay, so here if we see, or let me start with our AI, our array AI, right? So this is the actual array, right, what I have taken, and the value of AI here is, just a second, if I see in my for loop, the value of, just a second, yeah, the value of n is what? 4, and 4 minus 3, which comes as a 3. So the value of AI is like this, minus minus bucket, and then A of I. A of I is A of 3, which is 43, right? So 43, I'm sorry, 43, see, this is my A of I, right? 43 divided by exp and modular 10 is equal to A of I, right? So here this is equal to 43. If we calculate further, we can see bucket 43 comes as a 3, right? If I calculate 43 divided by exp modular 10, this comes as a 3, right? And this is equal to what? 43. Now if I see, or if I refer to my previous value of bucket 3, what I have mentioned here was bucket 3 value is 2. Remember, here we have find out the value of bucket 3, which was 2. So the value of bucket 3 is 2. So this comes as like minus minus 2 is equal to, and this is coming like this only, okay, which is equal to 43. Right, now we have seen minus minus is coming before 2, right? That means we need to first decrement the value. So the value of b I would be like b minus minus 2 would be like b of 1, which is equal to 43. So in this way we found a new array of which my first value at first position is 43. Right, this comes to draw my first phase array having a first value as 43 on first location. Right, so let me draw this. This is my array of, let's say, 4. So here this is what, this is my 0th position, this is my first position of array, this is my second position of array, this is my third position of array. Team, remember I am just making my second array, right? The same way how I have cleared or how I have made here, right? I am just creating my second array from my first array, right? And further we will see if this array is not sorted, then we will follow the same steps and we will sort our array, right? So the first position is 43. All right, now let's move to our next loop or next iteration. So here earlier it was 4 minus 1, which is 3. Now let's see if the value comes as 2, right? So on the next loop the value of n would be 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So now see how the same logic will work with our next iteration. Okay, so it's like b minus minus bucket of a, I'm sorry, a of I. All right, then divided by exp, then modular 10, which is equal to a of I. Right, so here if I say b and then negative negative bucket, oops, I click outside. Anyway, so here the value of let me write it again. I have just clicked outside. So it's like minus minus bucket a of I divided by exp modular 10. Okay, so here the value of a of I means a of 2, right? So here my value of a of I is 2. So the value of 2 in my here array is what? 5 6 7, right? So 5 6 7 divided by my expression, which was 1, right? So it will be like this, and this is equal to 567, and B of negative bucket, or I can directly write this will comes as bucket of 7, right, is equal to what, 567. Now here if I refer again, the value of 7 is what, 4, right? So that means B of negative bucket of 4, or I can say bucket of 7 is been replaced with 4, which is equal to 567, and since it's been negative earlier, so team, I'm unable to go further by pressing enter key, so I'm just writing here. So this will comes as B of 3, which is equal to what, 567. So we got another number at third position, which is 567. Okay, now let's try to further drill down and see our third element, right? So earlier it was the value of I is 2, now the I value of I is 1, right? So 2 minus 1, here the value of n would be 2, 2 minus 1, 1, right? So the value of I is 1, so we will write B negative bucket A of I divided by exp modular 10, which is equal to A of I. Oops, right? So here the value of A of I is what? Let me see. I value of I is 1, so A of I would be 2, right? So here it will be like 2 divided by 1 modular 10 is equal to 2. This will comes as negative bucket of 2. Okay, alright, is equal to 2, and if we see the value of bucket 2, then it comes as 1. Alright, so we will put the value here as B negative 1 is equal to 2, so the value of B would be 0, and which is equal to 2, right? So we got another element at a 0th position, which is 2. So I will put the value here as a 2. Now again the value of I is 0 now. I is equal to 0 now, and if I write the same expression again, bucket A of I means what? A of I means A at 0. So here we see the value of A of I is 34, right? So this will come as 34 divided by 1 expression, I'm sorry, mod by 10, this will equal to 34, right? So this will come as minus minus, this will come as 4, right? This will come as bucket of 4 is equal to 34, right? And then if I see the value of 4 here is 3, so this will be like 3, okay, which is equal to 34. Now after decrementing, I got the value 34, which has been kept at second position. So I got the value of second location also, which is 34. So this is the role of my third loop. Now this is very easy. I am just keeping the value of what I have in my B array to the corresponding value to my A array. Means I am just copying my B array to A array. That's it. I am just copying this. Means if I say the value of Bi means B0 is equal to A0, B1 is equal to A1, B2 is equal to A2, B3 is equal to A3. Right? I am just copying here. Right? And after copying it, the value of A array will be same as B array. Right? And after that, I will increment the expression by exp into 10. So next time the value of expression would be 10. Earlier it was 1, now it comes 10. And in this way we will move forward towards our rest of the loop. Right? As of now, in this case, it's been passed because I think it's passed in my first attempt, because if I say no, it's not passed because see 34 should comes in my comes before 43, so again it will take one more iteration, right? But hopefully I guess it's very easy if you understand this. Yeah, it's a bit complex, a bit tricky I would say, but once you understand the logic behind how I've explained you, it will be very easy for you to make this type of program, right? So team, try to make a more complex or a more what you say, more number of arrays. Let's try to do with 6, 7 or 10 number of array with and each figure should take 2 or 3 or at least 4 numbers, like 5672 for example, and try to write down, right? Try to write down every step, every logic, and then try to see using watch. For watch, just press alt ww and see if it matches with your concept or not. And this way you will find your mistakes, right? It's very easy program, just a play or just saying playing around with some for loops. It will be, it will make a very good and interesting program. Alright team, so hope you have understood. In case you have any issue or any problem or any confusion or you have any doubt, just feel free to mail me to my email id, which is learn@learnbyeglen.com, and please do practice and let me know in case of any issue. I always say, please mail me, and I will always help you out. Right? Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye, take care.